Today's story is about a place where the line between reality and nightmare fades away. Deep in the deserts of Utah lies Skinwalker Ranch, a land where strange lights, shadowy creatures, and events beyond human understanding are often seen. Some say it's a gateway to another world. Others call it a cursed land. Tonight we will hear the dark tale. Skinwalker Ranch, stories of alien activity and mysterious creatures in Utah. If you enjoy the story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and stay with us. So let's begin tonight's story. The sun was just beginning to set over the red cliffs of northeastern Utah when Dr. Elias Crow pulled his Jeep onto the dusty gravel road leading to Skinwalker Ranch. The air was thick with silence, broken only by the low hum of wind that seemed to whisper through the canyons. The world here felt untouched, ancient, like the land itself was alive and watching. Elias had come as part of a private research team investigating unexplained phenomena. Reports of glowing orbs, mutilated cattle, and humanoid creatures had drawn both skeptics and believers alike for decades. But for Elias, this was more than a professional project. It was personal. His brother, Marcus, had vanished near this very ranch 2 years ago. The only trace ever found was Marcus's shredded backpack discovered in the sagebrush miles from the property's fence line. At the gate, a rusted sign read, "Private property, no trespassing." The metal creaked in the wind, as though warning him to turn back. But Elias pushed forward, punching the security code the Research Foundation had given him. The gate groaned open slowly, almost reluctantly, and he drove inside. The ranch sprawled across hundreds of acres of barren land. The main house, once belonging to the Gorman family who had fled decades earlier, stood like a shadow, weathered wood, shattered windows, and an uneasy stillness that settled in the pit of his stomach. He parked beside the house where two figures were unloading equipment: Dr. Helena Voss, a paranormal investigator, and Sergeant Tom Reeves, a retired Air Force officer hired for security. "Dr. Crow," Helena greeted, brushing dust from her jacket. "You're late. The sun's almost gone. It's never good to arrive here at night." "Couldn't help the delay," Elias said, stepping out. "The roads out here feel like they were built for ghosts." Helena smirked. Maybe they were. Inside, the air smelled faintly of iron and something rotten. Tom set up motion sensors near the windows, while Elias unpacked the monitoring gear. "Stay inside after midnight. No matter what you hear, don't go out there." Elias frowned. "What happens after midnight?" Tom didn't answer, just glanced toward the window. Outside, the desert horizon shimmered faintly under the last traces of twilight. Then Elias saw it. 3 glowing orbs hovering above the ridge, pulsating with unnatural blue light. They drifted silently, almost rhythmically, before disappearing behind the hills. "Tell me that's a drone," Elias muttered. Helena's voice dropped. "No, they've been showing up every night this week." Suddenly, the power flickered. The lights dimmed, then went out completely. For a moment, only the wind could be heard, until something heavy thudded against the wall outside. Tom reached for his rifle. "Stay here," he whispered. Elias's breath caught as he stared at the window. A tall, thin shadow stood just beyond the glass, its head too large, its limbs too long. And when it moved, the motion was all wrong, twitching, jerky, almost insect-like. Then it turned its face toward him. 2 black, lidless eyes stared back.
Tom swung open the front door, his flashlight cutting through the pitch-black night. "Stay behind me," he barked, his voice trembling beneath the forced authority. The beam of light darted across the yard, empty. Only the rustle of the dry grass and the low groan of the wind answered back. Elias followed cautiously, clutching his camera. The air outside felt heavier, charged like the moment before a storm. "It was right there," he said, pointing at the window. "Tall, thin, with those eyes." Helena stepped out behind him, scanning the darkness. "They've been seen before. Some call them the Watchers. Others say they're not from this world at all." Tom moved toward the fence line, his boots crunching the dirt. Whatever it was, it's gone now. But then a metallic clang echoed from the barn. Everyone froze. The sound was deep, like a door slamming shut on its own. They rushed toward the barn, flashlights cutting through the dark. The large doors were half open, creaking in the cold wind. Inside, the beam of light caught movement, something skittering across the floor. Elias raised his camera, snapping photos in bursts. The air smelled of decay. "Jesus," Helena whispered. Hanging from the rafters were the remains of a cow, skinned perfectly clean, every incision smooth, almost surgical. The carcass was bloodless. Beneath it, the dirt was blackened, as if scorched by heat. Tom knelt down, running his gloved hand over the marks. This wasn't done by an animal. Before Elias could respond, the camera screen flickered, static. Then for a split second, an image appeared. Something crouched behind the carcass. A humanoid shape with gray skin, long arms, and a face that seemed stretched too thin. "It's here," Elias breathed. The creature moved before anyone could react. A blur of limbs and a guttural hiss filled the air. Tom fired a shot, 1, 2, 3 rounds, but the bullets hit only air. The thing moved too fast, vanishing through the broken window. The barn door slammed shut, trapping them inside. The lights on their gear began to blink rapidly. A high-pitched ringing filled their ears, vibrating through their skulls. Helena screamed, clutching her head. Elias felt his vision blur, the world twisting, spinning like a whirlpool of light and shadow. Then silence. When he blinked again, they were standing outside. The barn was behind them, but something was wrong. The stars above had shifted, constellations out of place. The air was colder, sharper. Even the moon looked distorted, swollen and pale green. "What just happened?" Helena gasped. Tom's hands shook as he checked his watch. "It's 4:12 a.m., but it was barely midnight when we went in." Elias stared back at the barn. Through the slats, he saw the same shadow moving again. Slowly this time, deliberately. Then a voice, soft and broken, drifted through the air. It was Marcus's voice. "Elias, help me!" Elias froze. His brother's voice echoed again, closer now. Helena grabbed his arm. "Don't follow it! It's not him!" But Elias had already taken a step toward the barn. Elias stood rooted to the ground, staring at the barn as the faint, broken voice of his brother drifted through the cold night air. "Elias, help me!" It was unmistakably Marcus. The tone, the hesitation, the subtle rasp from an old injury. His pulse thundered in his ears. Tom gripped his shoulder. "Don't move. That's not your brother. Whatever's out there knows how to use your mind against you." But Elias couldn't look away. Through the gaps in the wood, something shimmered, a faint blue light pulsing like a heartbeat. He took another step. "Marcus!" he shouted. "It's me, Eli! Where are you?" Helena moved in front of him, her flashlight trembling. "Elias, listen to me. The ranch mimics what you fear and what you love. You'll hear voices, see faces. They're lures, traps." But the voice came again, louder now, closer. "Elias, please! It's dark! I can't get out!" The sound cracked, filled with pain. Elias shoved Helena aside and ran for the barn. The door creaked open on its own, the smell of burnt metal and rot hitting him like a wave. His flashlight flickered violently, and for a second he thought he saw his brother kneeling in the dirt. "Marcus!" Elias fell to his knees. But when he reached out, his hand passed through the image, and the figure dissolved into black smoke. The ground trembled beneath him. From the shadows, something crawled out, long and thin, its skin gray and glistening, with eyes that reflected no light. Its mouth opened, stretching far wider than humanly possible, revealing rows of small needle-like teeth. Elias stumbled back, heart hammering. "What the hell are you?" The creature tilted its head, and in Marcus's voice, whispered, "Brother." Tom burst in, firing his rifle. The bullets ripped through the air, but the thing twisted unnaturally, moving on all fours like an insect. It let out a shriek so sharp it shattered the flashlight glass. The barn erupted into chaos, light, smoke, sound, all merging in a disorienting whirl. Helena dragged Elias out, coughing, as the creature lunged at Tom. He fired again, then screamed. The sound was swallowed by the night. Outside, Elias collapsed on the dirt, gasping. The barn was glowing from within, blue and white pulses flickering like lightning trapped in a bottle. Then, silence. Helena's eyes filled with horror. "He's gone." Elias pushed himself up, dizzy. "No! He's still in there!" Before he could move, the barn exploded in a burst of blinding light. The force threw them both to the ground. When the light faded, the barn was gone. Completely gone. Only a circular patch of scorched earth remained. Helena stared, shaking. It erased it, like it was never there. Elias turned to her, his face pale. "That thing, it used my brother's voice." Helena nodded slowly. "That's what they do here. They don't just come from the sky. They come from somewhere else. And now, Elias, it knows you." From the silence around them, the voice returned, this time whispering directly into his ear. "Elias, come and see what we've become."
By dawn, the air over Skinwalker Ranch felt wrong. The light seemed dimmer, the horizon warped like heat haze, though the morning was cold. Elias sat on the porch steps, staring at the patch of scorched earth where the barn had once stood. Tom was gone, erased as cleanly as the building. The silence that hung over the ranch was not natural. It pressed against the skin like a living thing. Helena emerged from the house, dark circles under her eyes. She'd been reviewing the recordings all night. "Elias," she said softly, "you need to see this." They went inside, where her laptop screen flickered with footage from one of the external cameras. It showed the exact moment the barn vanished. The creature could be seen briefly, its body vibrating, distorting, like it was both there and not there. Then, for a split second before the flash, another image appeared behind it, a huge circular shimmer in the air, twisting like a liquid mirror. "A portal," Helena whispered, "or a rift. It's pulling things in and sending things out." Elias leaned closer. The reflection in the shimmer wasn't the ranch. It was another place, darker, with red skies and shifting shapes moving in the distance. He felt cold crawl up his spine. "You think Marcus?" She didn't answer, but her silence said enough. Suddenly, all the monitors in the room turned on by themselves. Static filled the screens, then began forming shapes, faces, hundreds of them screaming silently. The lights dimmed and a low hum vibrated through the floorboards. Helena's voice quivered. "It's happening again!" Outside, the air rippled like water. The circular rift began to form over the empty field, glowing blue and white. A wind kicked up, strong enough to bend the trees backward. The ground shuddered. Elias grabbed the recording equipment. "If we can document this..." Helena cut him off. "If we stay here, we'll die." A thunderous crack split the sky. The rift widened, revealing glimpses of impossible things. Towering shadows with elongated limbs,
their movements fluid yet jagged like broken marionettes. From within the distortion, something began to crawl out. It was tall, gaunt, and covered in gray scales. Its eyes, black, endless pits, locked onto Elias. Its mouth opened, but the sound that came out wasn't a roar. It was 1,000 overlapping whispers, all calling his name. Helena screamed, dragging him toward the jeep. They jumped in, tires spinning in the dirt. Behind them, the ranch pulsed with light, and the thing began to move faster, its limbs contorting in ways that defied gravity. "Go, go, go!" Helena shouted. Elias slammed the gas pedal. The jeep tore across the dirt road, the headlights catching glimpses of smaller creatures darting through the sagebrush. The sky above twisted into a vortex of blue light, tendrils reaching toward them. Then, the radio crackled. A voice, distorted but familiar, spoke through the static. "Elias, don't run. You have to see. You promised you'd find me." Elias's hands tightened on the wheel. "Marcus!" The road ahead flickered. For an instant, it wasn't Utah at all. It was the red landscape from the reflection. Helena screamed, "Stop! You're driving into—"
Elias staggered to his feet, the red sky burning above him like molten metal. The air was heavy, thick with the scent of ozone and dust. The ground beneath his boots was cracked and dark, pulsing faintly, almost alive. He turned in a slow circle. The mountains, the ranch, the world he knew were gone. In their place stretched an endless wasteland filled with shimmering shadows that flickered in and out of existence. "Marcus!" Elias shouted, his voice echoing unnaturally far. "Where are you?" The only reply was a distant hum, rising and falling like breathing. He started walking toward it, his heart hammering. Shapes moved at the edge of his vision, tall figures that melted into the air whenever he tried to look directly at them. He could feel their eyes on him, cold and ancient. After what felt like hours, he reached a ridge overlooking a valley. Below, a massive structure rose from the ground, a spiral of bone-white stone, its surface etched with symbols that shimmered faintly blue. At the center of it stood a man. "Marcus!" His brother turned slowly. He looked almost the same, but his skin was pale, stretched tight, and his eyes glowed faintly with the same blue hue as the rift. "You came!" Marcus said, his voice layered with static, as if more than one person was speaking through him. Elias ran forward, emotion choking his throat. "I thought you were dead!" Marcus smiled faintly. "I was. Then they found me. They showed me the truth." "What truth?" Elias demanded. Marcus lifted a trembling hand toward the crimson sky. "This place isn't another world, Elias. It's underneath ours. They live between the folds of reality. The ranch, it's a doorway, a wound between dimensions. They use it to cross over." Elias shook his head. "We can close it! We can end this!" Marcus's expression twisted, part grief, part madness. "Close it? You don't understand. Once you see them, you belong to them." The ground trembled. The spiral structure began to hum, light spreading from its base. All around, the shadows gathered, taking form. Dozens of tall, gray creatures watching silently. Their black eyes reflected the brothers like mirrors. Elias backed away. "Marcus, come with me! We can still go back!" Marcus's face faded. "There's no going back. I opened it for them. They promised to give me life again, but now they want you." Before Elias could react, Marcus lunged, faster than humanly possible, and grabbed his arm. A surge of freezing energy shot through him, and images flooded his mind. Endless deserts, stars falling like embers, earth seen from far away, crawling with invisible things. Elias screamed and shoved Marcus away. The creatures began to move, circling closer. He stumbled toward the spiral center, where a glowing rift swirled like liquid glass. "Elias!" Marcus cried. "If you go, they'll follow." "I'm not giving them our world!" Elias shouted, diving into the light. The world exploded in sound and color. He woke on the ranch floor, gasping for air. The sky above was blue again, morning sunlight spilling across the dirt. The barn, the rift, everything was gone. Only his equipment remained, scattered and charred. Helena's voice crackled through the radio. "Elias, do you read me?" He pressed the button weakly. "I'm here." There was a pause. Then Helena whispered, "Elias, you've been missing for 6 months." Elias froze. In the reflection of the Jeep's window, something moved behind his eyes, a flicker of blue light. He smiled faintly. "Tell them," he said quietly. The door still open.